Have a nice day to all. In the last class, we studied about different proof methods like direct and indirect proofs. We have discussed one of the indirect proof method, which is proof of the contrapositive. Today we will start with one another indirect proof method, which is proof by contradiction. Then we will discuss some other proof methods also. One of the indirect proof method is proof by contradiction. Suppose we have a theorem h1 and h2 and etc. and hn implies the conclusion C. That is, if all these hypotheses are true, we have to prove that the conclusion C is true. We assume that all the hypotheses hi are true and the conclusion C is false. So this is the method of proof by contradiction. Here we assume that all the hypotheses are true, at the same time the conclusion C is false. Then we argue logically and arrive at a contradiction F. A contradiction is always false statement. So if we assume that all the hypotheses are true and the conclusion is false at the same time, then we will arrive at a contradiction. This happens since our assumption was wrong and so C is true. That is the argument we use to prove a theorem by the method of contradiction. Let us go through an example. By the method of contradiction, prove that there are infinitely many prime numbers. Here we assume that the conclusion is false. That is, there are only finitely many prime numbers. Now we will argue logically and we will arrive at a contradiction. And here we have supposed that there are only finitely many prime numbers. So let them be P1, P2, etc., Pk. That is, we assumed that there are only k prime numbers. Clearly, the first prime number is 2. So, P1 equal to 2, P2 equal to 3, P3 equal to 5, etc. We have the prime number up to Pk. Now, we take an integer x equal to 2 into 3 into 5 into etc. into Pk. That is, we take the product of all these prime numbers and we add 1 to this number. This is the integer x we have taken. Clearly, here x is a number which is greater than each of the primes p1, p2, etc. pk, because we have taken x as a product of these primes plus 1. So, all these primes are less than this x. Also, if we divide x by each of these primes, that will give the remainder 1. For example, if you divide by p2, then p2 equal to 3 and 3 is here in this product. And what remains as a remainder? It is 1. Similarly, if we divide by pk, pk is also there in this product. Therefore, here also when we divide x by pk, remainder will be 1. Likewise, if we divide x by each of these primes, always the remainder will be 1. So, here we consider two cases. Case 1, if x is a prime, then it is a contradiction because x not equal to pi for any of the primes p1, p2, etc. pk, and we assume that only primes are p1, p2, etc. pk, and x is a prime which is not in the list, so it is a contradiction. Case 2, if x is composite, then there is a prime p which divides x, but this prime p not equal to pi for I equal to 1 to etc. n, because we already noted that when we divide x by the prime pi, there remains a remainder 1. So, each of the pi's are not divisors of x. So, if there is a prime p which divides x, that prime p not belongs to the set p1, p2, etc. pk. So, here also we arrive at a contradiction because we assumed that the only primes are p1, p2, etc. pk. So, in both the cases we arrive at contradictions. Therefore, we conclude that our assumption was wrong. And what was our assumption? We assumed that there is only finitely many primes. Therefore, we can conclude that there are infinitely many prime numbers. This is the method of proof using contradiction. We assume that the conclusion C is false and we will arrive at a contradiction. Using the method of contradiction, prove that root 2 is irrational. We assume that root 2 is rational. Therefore, we can express root 2 as p by q, where p and q are integers and they are relatively prime integers. That is, they have no common factors. For p and q, there are no common factors. For example, if p by q is in the form sum 2 by 4, we can cancel the common factor 2 and this is equal to 1 by 2. And assume that here we write root 2 as a fraction p by q, where p and q have no common factors. And clearly q not equal to 0. Then we can write q into root 2 equal to p. So we can write q into root 2 equal to p. Squaring both sides, we have 2q square equal to p square. This means that p square is an even integer. Here p square is of the form 2 into an integer, therefore p square is an even integer. If the square of an integer is even, clearly the integer must be even. Therefore here p is an even integer. Since p is even, we can write p as 2 into an integer. So say p equal to 2m. Now substituting in this equation, we get 2q square is equal to 2m whole square. That is 2q square is equal to 4m square. That is q square is equal to 2m square. So this implies that q square is an even integer because q square here equal to 2 into an integer. Therefore q square is an even integer. Since q square is even, q is an even integer. So what we get is that p is an even integer and q is an even integer. That is p is a multiple of 2 and q is also a multiple of 2. Therefore 2 is a common factor of both p and q. It is a contradiction since we already assumed that p and q are relatively prime. Therefore there will be no common factors for p and q other than 1. So this implies that our assumption was wrong. And what was our assumption? It was root 2 is rational and it is wrong. Therefore we have root 2 is irrational. So this is the method of proof by contradiction. Next proof method is proof by cases. Suppose we have the theorem h1 or h2 or etc. or hn implies the conclusion C. That is, if any of these hypotheses becomes true, it implies that the conclusion C is true. So here h1 or h2 or etc. or hn implies C is logically equivalent to h1 implies C and h2 implies C and etc. and hn implies C. Here the theorem is true if and only if each of the hypotheses implies the conclusion C. We will go through an example. In the island of knights and knaves, A said B is a knave. B said A and C are of the same type. Same type means both A and C are knights or both A and C are knaves. Prove that C is a knave. So in this problem, explicitly the cases are not given. To prove the theorem using proof by cases, we will locate some cases here. So case 1 we may take as A is a knight. That is, A always says truth. Therefore, the person B always tells false. And what was his statement? It was A and C are of the same type. So it is a false statement. Therefore, we can conclude that A and C are of different type. Since A and C are of different types and A is a knight, this implies that C is a knave. So using the proof by cases, in the first case, if A is a knight, then we showed that C is a knave. So we have to consider the second case also. Case 2 is A is a knave. If A is a knave, his statement is always false. What is his statement? A said B is a knave. Therefore, B is a knave is false. Since B is a knave is false, this implies B is a knight. Since B is a knight, he always says truth. And his statement was A and C are of the same type. So this implies A and C are of same type. Since A and C are of same type and A is a knave, this implies C is a knave. So in the second case also, we proved that C is a knave. So actually in this problem, these two cases, A is a knight and A is a knave, are not explicitly given. We locate two cases from the problem to obtain the result by using the proof by cases. Another problem, prove that n square plus n is an even integer. We will use proof by cases here. And what are the cases we have to consider? Case 1 is n is an even integer. Then we can write n as 2 into an integer k. So we consider n square plus n. So this is equal to 2k whole square plus 2k. So this is equal to 4k square plus 2k, and I can write it as 2 into 2k square plus k. Now this is of the form 2 into an integer, so for it is even. Therefore in this case, when n is an even integer, then n square plus n is an even integer. Now we consider case 2, in which we assume that n is an odd integer. If n is an odd integer, it is of the form n equal to 2 into an integer plus 1. That is an even integer plus 1. That is a general form of an odd integer. Here also we consider n square plus n. So this is equal to 2k plus 1 whole square plus 2k plus 1. So this is equal to, using the formula a plus b whole square, we have a square plus 2ab plus b square plus 2k plus 1. Combining the like terms, we can write 4k square plus 6k plus 2. Here also we can take 2 outside, and I can express it as 2 into 2k square plus 3k plus 1. Here also it is of the form 2 into an integer, therefore it is an even integer. So in the second case also, n square plus n is even if n is odd. So in both these cases we proved that n square plus n is an even integer. Therefore the result is proved.